Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Angel Spirit Show, episode number 3. Yeah, it's been amazing, amazing time. We all have so many helpers around us. We have our angels, we have our guides, and they're a spiritual team. They are a part of Creator, God, Universe. They're here to help us on Earth, and they really want to bring us messages and they really want to help us along our life path. We're going to have an amazing guest tonight. Her name is Angele Tousignant, and she talks to the angels. She talks to guides. And she's been doing this for some time. I think 20 some years, I think she told me. So yeah, she's got a lot to offer, and we're going to be talking about some of the experiences she's had with clients, and maybe help us understand how to tap into these angels, how to tap into the guides. I work with the angels as well, and they're very light energy, and I know when the angels are around because I feel a lot lighter and things just get so much easier. And yeah, I work a lot with them, and you can too. When I ask the question, when I do classes and I ask the question, okay, who's been working with their angels? I'll get maybe 1 or 2 hands up, and I'll say, okay, yeah, now I know. Yeah, the angels are telling me that, that they're unemployed. So that is amazing that we can work with them and get them employed, because they really want to help us. And it's part of God's plan to help us on this journey. We don't have to suffer. So many people have this in their head that they have to suffer. And that there's lessons that they have to learn. And I can honestly tell you, yeah, there's lessons to be learned, but we don't have to suffer to learn those lessons. So I call upon the angels and I get them to help me with everything in my life. And yeah, so we want to bring on Angele. I just love her name. It's amazing, amazing. She's actually a friend of my cousin's, so it's wonderful to have her here. The name of her company is Cosmic Earth Angel Crystal Clear, and she works a lot. She's a very gifted, multi-talented, intuitive healer. She's a Reiki master. She's also a psychic medium. So I'm really want to get her on here so we get started with our interview. So Angele, I hope you're there. I think I've seen you log in. If you want to come and join us.
I'm here.
Awesome. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Get myself all toasty cozy in.
Yes, definitely.
How are you today?
Oh, pretty good. Yourself?
I am awesome. I'm home, so hopefully the sound is better today.
Actually, it's still pretty low.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Huh. Okay. Let's see here if we can get...
There we go.
That's better?
That's way better. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is it hot in Regina?
Fort Capel. I'm actually in Fort Capel right now. Yeah. This is where I live on the lake. So whatever you did, if you could do that again, turn it up a little bit more.
Okay. How's that?
Yeah. Any more?
That's as high as it's going to go.
Okay. So maybe if you can just, you're going to have to maybe talk a little bit louder. Yeah. So welcome, welcome, welcome. And I don't know if I said your name right. So Angele Tousignant?
That is correct.
Oh, good, good, good. Thank you. Yeah. So can you tell us a little bit of who you are? Just a brief introduction of where you live, and yeah, if you could just tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I'm a psychic medium. I've been this way from the day I was born. I live in Saskatoon, Sask. I'm a jack of all trades and a master of all of them. So I have owned businesses. I've written books. Did my Reiki's master's, so I can teach Reiki now. I taken my certificate in crystals and card readings. I owned a silk screening print shop, so I did silk screening on clothing. I've do moccasins, mucklucks. I've designed a Métis clothing line, and I've designed ribbon shirts for Métis women.
Wow. That must keep you pretty busy. That's
Yeah,
amazing. That's
I'm
amazing.
a
Yeah.
busy person.
You're a busy person. So, you have a lot of different business lines that you're doing, and it's really, do you do this full time?
Yes, I am now doing this completely full time, and I've left everything else go to the wayside.
Yeah. I work a lot with the angels. I work a lot with our guides, and, and they're always helping. I was just telling the viewers early before you came on, they're there to help us. They're there to guide us. And, we don't have to suffer to learn lessons,
No,
no, they're there. They're available. They're able to help us. Can you tell us, the viewers, just a little bit about how you access the energy of the angels? How do you do that, Angel?
well, I do a triathlon in the morning. So I will do like 15 minutes to half an hour meditation. I'll do 15 minutes to half an hour of accessing either Gaia, or I watch a lot of Jody Rollins videos and her YouTube, and I watch your YouTube. And then I either journal or go for a swim or for a walk, just to keep myself grounded and centered. And I call in my energy. And I have a strong energy. I here, for an example, I was a little late getting on because our apartment, we have a net on the deck so that the birds can't get on our deck. Well, we just had two on our deck.
Oh,
They
wow.
find their way in because I just draw
Wow.
animals and people.
Wow, I love that you're saying that. Animals are such a pure soul, and they know who to trust and who not to trust. I know when I communicate with animals, I help my friends, if their animals are missing or if they're misbehaving, I'll have telepathically, I can connect with the animals, and I love their energy. Like, I love what they have to say. Like, they're so laid back, and they're so direct, they're so amazing.
Yeah. And animals connect me to the angels,
Yes. Oh,
right? I
cool.
am connected to the angels through animals. Since I was a kid, there'd be animals that they would want to shoot, put down because nobody could get near them. I would get in the pen with them. I could work with them. I could relax them. But that's how I really connect. When I get into nature with animals or trees or water, I can really connect with angels.
Isn't that amazing? Can you explain to the viewers exactly when you're connecting with the angels, what that energy feels like? Do you actually see the angels? Do you feel the angels? Like, just a little bit so they can understand what you're experiencing.
As a child, yes, I did see angels. The more that I grew up, the more it was discouraged and told that I had imaginary friends. But for me, I get goosebumps and my hair will stand up all over my body, and I'll get ringing in my ears, and then I just feel like I'm floating. And it's just like I want to just stay there because it's fun.
Yeah, they have such this the energy that they give to us is it's a love, right? It's the
Yes.
closest that we could ever feel and on this earth plane, what it would actually feel in heaven when you have the angels close to you, because it's just pure love.
Yes. See, I also cross people over. So when I go to the other side, it is exactly what you say. It's a warmth, calming. It's just imagine a down-filled blanket that wraps around you. And that's the angels that are just comforting you. And they send
Exactly.
lots of feathers and dimes and pennies and nickels. And when you find a toonie, you know you got a whole team.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, I love when they're able to give us messages and yeah, just trying to do something with my computer here. I don't know what's happening. Anyways,
Oh,
okay, so yeah, I love what they're able to do for us and how they're able to help us with really anything for having issues in relationships, careers, if we're just having a low time in our life, even when we have good times, even when we're happy and joyful, the angels want to share that experience with us too. And when I see the angels, I see energy and I see colors. Like I'll see like purple is Archangel Michael. If I
yes.
see blue. I see that's Archangel Haniel. Like I'll see those auras and I'll see them around people. Do you see that too, Angel?
Yes, I do. I see a lot of colors. I can see the auras, but I also, like you said, I also see the colors with the angels, and you'll know, like I'll know right away if somebody has lost a loved one or if they have a health issue, depending on the glow or the color that they give off when I first see them. So
Yeah.
it's very interesting. And when you talk about it, it's just something for me that's natural because it's been all my life. So it's something that just isn't automatic for me. So I have to think really hard when people ask questions because it's sort of, well, don't you see them? Like, don't you see the
Right.
colors? I do.
Right. Exactly. It comes natural to us, you know. And, you know, sometimes, you know, when I teach my classes, the chakras and the auras and understanding the angels, you know, sometimes it's not seeing the colors. You may just know the color, you know. Sometimes people have that too. So,
Yeah, they have the
like
knowing.
knowing, yeah. So I can do an aura reading. Someone can have their back turned to me and I'll just know what color their auras are because I just have that sense. So I'm picking up that you have that as well. Can you tell the viewers a little bit about your first experience with the angels? Like how old were you? What were you doing? Something, if you can remember that. I know it's from
Um,
earlier. There's something that really
yeah.
sticks out.
I would have had to have been between the age of 3 and 5. My dad was sort of parked because we're on a farm outside of Roston, and he was parked on the grid road, and I ran to see him, and it was spring, and I had my snowsuit on, and I crossed the ditch, and I went through, and I was drowning by the time he got out of the truck and pulled me out. I had already seen them then, and I knew they were there protecting me. It was a calming feeling. I've had 5 near-death situations, and I've always had the angels with me. And it's sort of like, I know I'm okay, and people go, well, how do you know? And I can't explain the feeling. It's just like, you're calm, you're relaxed, you know that you're going to be just fine because they're there giving you that comfort that you need. And I use Raphael a lot. Raphael and Michael.
Yeah.
They're on speed dial
Yeah.
for me.
And that's awesome because, you know, they can be on speed dial for everybody. They're omnipresent, so that means that they can be anywhere at any time. And it's amazing that, you know, you can call them and you can actually call them to help other people as well, because I've done that. I've asked for Raphael. If I had a family member that's not feeling well, I'll send Raphael to that family member. And it's up to their guides and angels to accept Raphael to help them or not. And usually, you know, I see good outcome from that. So people need to learn how to do that. So can you tell us when you had your first aha moment, like something that really turned you around so that you knew that you were in the right path? I'm sure you've had lots, but the one that really, really sticks out for you.
The one that really, really sticks out for me would have been in 2014 when my husband was in a quadding accident. And they basically told me that he was either going to make it or not make it within the next 48 hours. And he started talking to his father, his grandfather, and his uncle, who are all passed. And it was at that moment that it was like a loud scream in my head that I was to put my hands and grab his arm. And I just did that. Like I just stood there holding him. And I think it was because I was to be the anchor for him. And they gave him the choice as to whether he'd go or stay. But I think I was anchoring him at the same time as healing him. So
Wow.
that was biggest aha. I'm doing it again. I shut down for a while.
Yeah. You know, sometimes we need to, because you've been doing this all your life, so we need some time out sometimes just to replenish our energy and just to get us going again. So that must have been very, you know, very detrimental to go through that experience. And did you actually see the people that he was talking to at the
No,
time?
I didn't see them at the time, because that's kind of when the aha moment and I started reopening myself up. So I wasn't in, I guess, as you say, I didn't have my radio station tuned in at that time.
Yeah, and that's a good point, because, you know, when we're under a stressful situation as intuitive healers, psychic mediums, when we're going through trauma in life, I find that it's really hard for me to really ask for that help. And that's the time that we need to ask for that help to get us through that moment. But you see, I think it puts up blockages. That trauma that we experience will put up a blockage. So I think times like that, we need other healers to help us, right? We need other people to help. Yeah. So I think people just need to realize that it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to ask people for help. It's okay to ask the angels for help. It doesn't mean you're weak. It doesn't mean that, you know, that you're a failure. It just means that you need that support, and they're going to help you, right? I'm even getting hot from that, just thinking about it, because angels do that. Like, they're just saying, yay, Maureen, yay, Angel, you guys are on the right track, right? So can you tell? Yeah.
They sit at the edge of their seat just waiting for us to ask them for the help, because they want to help us, but they can't just help. They can't, how do I put it? They can't just put themselves into the situation. You have to invite them.
Exactly. I
But
love that.
sitting there going, I'm here, call me. I'll help. Like a little kid.
Exactly. You gotta ask, you gotta receive, and then you gotta take action too, you know, because you need that too. It's really, really up to you. You know, I really remember my first client that I had. It was early in my career. I think we talked about this yesterday. I was telling you about the lady that came, and she was totally going through a custody battle. She was like, her spirit was broken. She lost her job with this custody battle, and she was just totally broken. And her spirit guide came through in the reading and in the healing session for her, actually seen a big eagle come and rescue her. And after the reading, or shortly after reading, I explained about this about the eagle coming through, and she said that was what her father's Indian name was Big Eagle. So I knew that the angels were helping me, and I knew that her spiritual team were guiding me. Like, I just had a knowing. So can you share with the viewers, like, that was a really huge turning point for me, when I knew that it's real. It's not just in my head, because how would I know her father's Indian name? He was passed. He'd actually passed 6 months earlier. How would I know that? You know, it had to come from somewhere, and that came from the angels. That came from her guides. Can you share with the viewers a time when you had a session where it just was so profound that you knew you were doing the right thing?
Well, I've had a couple. The one that I just recently I was doing a reading for a couple who had lost a family member. And I was starting into the reading. They wanted to do it psychically. So I was in the psychic mode. I had set myself up. I was doing the readings, and through the readings, I started to choke. I couldn't breathe. And I was sitting there and I was doing the readings, and more stuff was coming out about a cabin and a room and stuff being moved. And all of a sudden, it was like the wife started to cry, and the husband was trying to hold it back. And it was like, all of a sudden it hit me, and I started to cry. So now, once I started to cry, they started to cry. And it turns out that they had lost his son, who had worked on the oil rigs, which he was showing me the oil rigs. I was bringing it out. He had a room at the cabin that he had from a kid, I guess, and they had never changed anything. But after he passed, there was something that was moved, and he was like coming through to me that put it back. It shouldn't have moved. And I found out that because I was choking, that he had drowned. That's how he had died. And it was sort of like, oh my goodness, like that I could be that in tune and be able to pick those things out just blew my mind.
Wow.
But the healing that it did for them, because they were telling me they had gone to many readers, many counselors for help, and it just wasn't helping them, and they just kind of were crying, and they were just saying how healing it was to actually know that I could prove to them by the stuff I was saying how dead on I was about what had happened in the situation of him passing and his work. So that was a wow.
Yeah. You know, you're so right about that. It really is healing. When people are grieving and they don't know where to turn, the last thing you really want to do is really talk about that grief, because it's really hard to talk about it, right? It takes a long time to talk about it. And I know that with my father's passing 3 years ago. No, 2013. Wow, it's 5 years ago.
I was going to say, my dad died in 2012, and I was getting 13 for you.
Yeah. Oh, you're so smart. And yeah, and you know, I couldn't talk about for the longest time, but luckily I had healers and people like you to help me through that process, to know that his spirit is still alive. Like I knew, and I'm getting lots of signs, but just getting that healing, it's an alternative way, right? You know, instead of numbing us with medication and dealing with our depression, because we do go in depressions, right?
Yes,
You know?
you do.
Yeah, you do. So we know what it feels like to lose a father. And it took me a long time to even talk about it without even crying about it, because he was such a big part of our family. So yeah, so people need to realize the work that we do is not only just fortune tellers, right? We're not fortune tellers. We're here to help people along their life path. Exactly. Right, Angel?
That is true. And I tell people that the only part of the person that we've lost is their actual physical body that is completed its term in the lifespan of our loved one. But the soul, the spirit, it never dies. It is there. It's the only thing is now it's pain-free, and it can be in more than one place at a time. Can be at visit everybody and just help and guide. Like my dad died, like I said, in 2012, but he's with me all the time. I have conversations like he's across the table, and when I run into issues, I still have a conversation with him, and he answers me. The other day I had some health issues, and I was talking to my dad, and I sat there and I put my phone on the charger. I got myself ready for bed. I climbed into bed. I rolled over. I was all toasty, and my phone fired up playing music that my dad and I would always listen to. It was our favorite tunes. And then I was sitting there and I go, okay, Dad, if this is really you, play a song that only you and I know the joke. And all of a sudden my phone is playing Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer. And I was like, okay, I got you. You're here.
Wow.
I won't question anymore.
Don't you love that? Yeah, that's exactly it. Viewers, you need to ask. You need to get your loved ones to show you signs that you understand, you know, that you completely understand, because they can do that. I usually ask just before I go to sleep, I'll ask my guides to show me something that I'll understand, that my dad's with me, and that I clearly can see that or understand it, and they do. Then I'll get a whole bunch of messages about him. Something will show up or pop up about him, or my phone will show his picture the next day. You know those memories that Facebook has?
Yes.
His picture, it actually showed up today. That's probably why I'm talking about it now, because he's with us right now too. So I'm sure your dad and my dad are having a good party up there.
They're having a coffee right now. And it's funny you say that, because I was at the farm and I was in my camper and I was sitting there and I was looking out at the pasture where I buried my cat. And I was sitting there and I'm going, oh, you know, Nikita, I truly miss you. And then right after that, I picked up my iPad, and what was on Facebook? The memory of the picture of her. And I just sat there and went, holy smokes. Like, all you got to do is ask and be willing to keep an open mind that you're actually going to see the signs.
Yes.
And I tell a lot of my clients, like, tell them the sign that you want to associate with the word. So
Yes.
if you want a rose to mean love, then tell them you want to see a rose. If you want to see water, then pick a sign so that you can start communicating with them. They'll give you the signs in pictures, and you can start holding a conversation with them right away. Like, it's anything is possible. You just have to be open-minded to do it.
Exactly. Yeah, you're right. Because if we're not open-minded, then we put up a blockage and they can't come through because we're blocking it. We're blocking their energy. So, can you tell the viewers, okay, so you're talking about telling your clients how to connect with their loved ones.
Yes.
So, like, what else? What other kind of service do you provide? You do the psychic readings. Can you talk a little bit about the Reiki that you do, or the healing work that you do?
Yes, I got visions for being a medicine woman, which I questioned at the beginning, but I do know now that I am a healer by natural. So I do teach level 1 Reiki, level 2 and level 3. I have quite a few clients. We have a Reiki circle actually, and I had one lady who laid on the table. We were doing Reiki, and I went to do work on her, and I got a vision of a elderly native woman holding a baby, giving me the baby. And I'm sitting there, oh, I wonder if she knows she's pregnant.
Oh,
Right?
wow.
So I sat there and I didn't
Yeah.
say anything. And then that night she gave me a ride home, and she says, okay, Angel, I see it on your face. What's going on? I said, you might want to go to your doctor. And she's kind of like, well, what do you mean? And she was sitting there. I go, well, I was given a baby, so I think you might be pregnant. She goes, I am. And I'm sitting there like, really?
Wow.
Like, awesome, right? So
I love those. Yeah,
I
I love
get
that.
I get those visions, and I get the psychic messages coming in when I'm doing the healing, and I deliver that message to the people while I do the work on them. And it seems to be that they heal so much faster when the energy work's happening and you're giving them the information. They seem to relax and accept that the energy moves, and we can move the blockages a lot faster. So I combine a lot, like I combine the psychic with the healing and the Reiki and all the fun stuff that I do.
Wow, I love that because I do the same thing too. Basically, I tell people I read your energy. They kind of look at me, what do you mean you read my energy? I read whatever your energy is telling me to do. So if you need a message from your loved one, if you need a message from the angels, if you need a healing, a physical healing, I'll work with that as well. So yeah, I combine everything when I'm doing my healings, I'm giving messages. If people are open to it. So not all people are open to it, but it really, I agree
Yeah,
though, it does speed up the healing when you open up to do whatever, Maureen, do whatever you're guided to do. I find that those are the most profound healings. I actually had a lady, I was doing a reading and I seen something gray in her throat.
oh,
Yeah, so I said, okay, you better go to your doctor. I see something gray. I don't know what it is, but you're gonna have to go to your doctor and get it checked out. She went to her doctor. She actually had a tumor in her throat. Yeah.
oh,
So, luckily I wasn't afraid to tell her, and I even though I was doing a reading, there was a physical healing that she needed at the same time. So even if I'm doing a reading, I'm doing a healing if I see something in their physical body. So, those are so profound. We really have to listen to our intuition. And that brings me to my next question. Do you believe that the higher power chose you to do this work?
oh,
Because
without
yeah.
a doubt. I was born to be, because it's like, my name is Angel, and a lot of the things that I was asked as a kid is, how did you get your name Angel? Well, my mom was calling me Della. And when my dad picked me up for the first time, he said I was his little angel. And when he took the registry paper up to the nurse's station, he took a pen and he put Angel in front of Della. And he said, I am an angel sent from heaven. And from that, I knew from that story that I was meant to be here. Like I was meant to be here and heal. And from a kid, I used to, being Métis background, we took care of our elders. So in my grandma's house, I had my great-great-grandmothers and my great-great-grandfathers. And from a very young age, they would always want me to sit on them, and I would actually be healing them. I'd be feeding them and I'd be healing them as I would sit there. So I, like I said, from the age I could walk, from the day I was born, I was healing already. So
Wow.
it's just natural to me to do it. It's like brushing your teeth every morning for me.
Good. That's awesome. You gave me goosebumps when you told me that your dad changed it to Angel. I actually got, my hair was standing up on my arms because that's so true. Your dad was very intuitive. So can you tell us a little bit about, was he like you? Were your parents like you? Like, tell us.
My dad had strong energy. He could never wear battery operated watches or electronics. He'd blow. So he was like me. As a kid, if I got really angry, I could knock stuff with my energy. Like I could move things. On my mom's side, we have the psychic medium that was through our family, but it was always hush hush. I did some training with Mrs. Vondel, who's a cousin. My grandma is the one who kind of, like my mom's mom is the one who kind of guided me as a child, shall we say, because I could do stuff and she'd always be like, okay, control your temper, meaning at that time I thought it was my temper, but it was actually, she was trying to teach me how to control my energy, because it was my energy that I was bursting out nailing people with and not understanding as a kid, right? And she'd always tell me, because I had learning disabilities, but actually they're not learning disabilities. It's just that I was at a different level or energy field than everybody else. So to me, the day-to-day stuff that people see in the 2D and the 3D world, it's just kind of stuff that I kind of like, yeah, whatever, because I'm kind of up there, so I see things differently. I see outside of the box. My intuitiveness is I was a big why person. I still am. Why, who, and how come. But I can take things apart and intuitively put them back and have parts left over, and the thing runs better than it did before. So they kind of laugh at me a lot. I'm just trying to think. My grandfather, my mom's dad, was also very intuitive. And I would have to say, actually, my mom's whole side. So I think I get it mostly from her side. Because when I start thinking of my uncles and everything and the conversations we had as I grew up, they were all that way, because they could train animals like I did. They could do lots of stuff. I was just less scared and was more out front about it and just did it anyway, no matter what people thought.
How was it when you were growing up in high school or in school? Like, knowing that, I know being different, I always got along with everybody. Like I didn't get in one set of group of kids. I got along with everybody. So I just needed to reach out to people. I knew I was different, but I didn't understand it until later on, after my near-death experience as well. But just, can you get the viewers to know kind of what it's like when you're growing up?
School was rough for me because, like I said, I just get the information, and as a kid, you don't know any better, and you just blah everything out. So growing up, a lot of the kids called me Miss Know-It-All, because whatever I said would come through. So they nicknamed me Miss Know-It-All. But most of being in school, I always took care of the underdogs. So people who were mentally, physically challenged, I basically protected them. I didn't let other kids pick on them. I didn't care if they didn't like me for it, if they teased me because of it. I would protect them from being mean and cruel to them. It's kind of just what I did. And I still do it today.
I agree. I was the same way too. I always seemed to help the less fortunate, and I always felt bad if people were picking on other kids. I'd always try and help them as well. So I can totally relate to that. And I think as intuitives, as sensitive people, we just automatically do that. I like that Miss Know-It-All, because I used to know things. I didn't know why I knew things. I used to think I was just smart. But little did I know that I had all these helpers helping me on everything. Because I'd pray lots. Like I'd pray for tests. Okay, God, give me the knowledge so I can remember when I'm studying, and I wouldn't remember. Like my memory was really good. So, but it was actually praying to my helpers, and God would send them to help me. So yeah, that's amazing. So can you tell the viewers why you choose to do the work that you do? Like what keeps you going?
I've asked myself that question a lot of times, and I still don't know the answer, to be honestly truthful. But like I said, from a very young age, I was always taking care of people, healing people. When I left school, I went into the healthcare. I went into home care, special care aid. I went into taking care, like private homes, taking care of people. I've always stayed in the health field and helping people. And people ask, well, why? Well, I'll burn out, I'll leave for a bit, but I always seem to be drawn back in. And with my last accident, I can't work anymore. So I now what do I do? And basically that's now what I've started doing is I'm still helping people, and I'm still helping heal people, just on a metaphysical field, opposed to an actual going in and doing the labor work.
But that really helps you working in the healthcare field. That can bring you a lot of benefits, being an intuitive healer now, and reader, that you're able to bring in that practical Western medicine to this alternative way of healing. So that's a great way to combine your previous experience and what you're doing. So that's awesome. Can you tell the viewers, people need to know, sometimes I feel that, well, Maureen, you're just making that up, how do you know that about this person? How do you know about that person? Sometimes I'm doubting myself, right? So, sometimes I'll say, okay, I see you in an accounting office, or I see you doing book work, and the person will say, well, yeah, I'm an accountant. And then sometimes I'll change it and say, oh, okay, I'll change it and say, oh, you work in a finance department. Like, I don't know. I just change things sometimes because I start doubting myself. And then the person will say, no, I work in an accounting office. Okay, well, I already got that, but why didn't I say that? So, it's sometimes, and then I'm kicking myself after for not saying what I'm getting. So can you tell us how you tap into that intuition and how you trust those messages that you're getting?
It's blind faith.
I love it.
Totally blind faith that they have never, I like you, I've questioned myself. But the funniest is in 1997, my husband and I lived in Vanderhoof, BC. And I was getting visions then of me being on a plane all the time. I was getting visions of a house with a wrapped around balcony and trees. And I was describing all of this. I was getting visions of me being on a bus all the time. And I really thought, okay, Angel, well, you're cracked. You've lost it, right? And my husband was starting to get a little worried. And that's when I kind of shut myself down. But it turns out that the house that I was seeing was his grandparents' house in Quebec, which I never saw until 2002. The plane, I met up with the boys for the Body, Soul, and Spirit Expo here in Saskatoon last fall. And they were like drowning. They didn't have any helpers, and they were just getting swamped. And being who I am, I just jumped in and started helping them. And from there, they just started flying me to the other shows to help them because they liked the work that I did. And for the bus thing, well, I kind of giggle at that one because my husband used to work dairy, so he always worked on the farm. And he used to always make fun of me because I could tell a calf was sick a week before it would be sick. but he's now a city bus driver here in Saskatoon.
Oh, wow.
So, and I don't drive, so I'm on the bus all the time. So I had these visions already in 1997.
Wow.
So it's blind faith. Like, they're giving me heads up. They're giving me everything I need to know. I just had to switch back on and say, okay, like, they're giving me what needs to be. It may not make sense to me, but as long as it's making sense to the person that's getting the message, that's all that matters.
I love that. Exactly. As long as it's helping that person, and as long as they're, we have to give them some kind of validation. Like, I tell people that a lot of times my readings will validate what you're already thinking and what you're already knowing. So,
yeah.
And that's good, because in that way, they can build that trust in the reading, right? And then when we're looking in the future, we're able to be a little bit, they have a little bit more confidence in what we have to say about the future. So why do you want to help others? Like, for me, I just love helping them, knowing that I've had a part, or God's had a part in helping them become the beautiful, bright lights that they are, and the beautiful people that they are, and not to suffer. So I help people because I love the way it makes me feel. I get the benefits of the healing, and so do you. So can you tell the viewers why why do you help others?
Why do I help others?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know so much if it's like the feeling of helping others is a bonus plan, but when I was, like, as a kid being raised, we're Roman Catholic, and that was a big part on both sides of my family. It was to the point I even taught catechism. And I sat there. So my biggest thing has always been, do unto others as you wish done unto you. So if I was ever in a position that I needed the help that the person I'm helping, I would hope that somebody would be able to help me. So it's just automatic for me to do it for other people as a pay it forward type thing.
Yeah, that's awesome. I find that before I really got into this work, which is 2006, I didn't have a lot of friends. And now that I'm in this work and I'm sharing all of this wonderful work that I'm doing, my friends have expanded. And I know so many people now that it just makes me happy to know that I've helped them. And now I have friendships with people. And they're telling their families, like, they're telling their friends, they're telling their mothers, their brothers, their sisters. It's just such a ripple effect when you're able to do this work, to share and to help. So I love that as well. Like, I love that part of doing the work that I'm doing. But the gratitude that I get from seeing somebody just smile, or somebody just walk away with all that weight off of them, because when they walk in, there's so much weight on them, and when they walk out, they look like feathers walking out, because there's so much has drifted away, and that feeling just helps, And do you find that you're able to we bring healing to other people, and we see that change in them? Do you find that you're able to heal yourself? Are you able to bring that energy and on for you as well?
Yes. As long as how do I say, if I'm doing my self-care, yes, I can. It's kind of a give and receive. When you give out the energy to heal somebody, you're being replaced with energy as well, the healing energy that will come back to you. But a lot of the times I have Raphael right by my side when I'm doing the healing, and I ask him to use my personal body as a conduit to do the healing for the person that I'm working with. So I rely a lot on Raphael to do a lot of, shall I say, the hard work. I do the easy work. He does all the hard work. I make him work for it. The other thing, a lot of people will question me. I do the Body, Soul, and Spirit Expo. I do other events, and there'll be people who will come up that I do readings for, and I don't charge them. And I'm asked, why don't you? And I'm sort of, because I'm being told not to. And they kind of, what do you mean? I said, I'm being guided that this is what you need and this is what I need to do. And I'm not charging you for it because I'm guided by my team and your team that you really need this message. And I just give it. So even with Reiki, there's sometimes I do Reiki and I don't charge the person because I'm guided not to. And I do it blind faith. I don't know why I'm supposed to do it, even though I do ask the why, because I'm a why person. But I've learned not to just do it. Don't ask any questions.
That's cool. I love that because, you know, a lot of healers have a hard time in charging people,
Yes.
you know, because they just, it just doesn't, they don't feel right to charge for their gifts. But a lot of times I tell them, you know, we have people that are born singers. They all can sing. We have really good singers and they charge for their talents. We have massage therapists that help people and they charge for their service. So we're intuitive healers and we need to charge too. However, you know, if you're guided and you're and say not to charge that person, there could be a reason. They could, I always tell them, give somebody else, you know, I gave you this for free, help somebody else out, pass it on, right?
Yeah.
And then that way it'll even be more profound, even more powerful if they were to help somebody else. Go buy somebody a coffee or donate to the PAC project, which is dear to my heart. I'll tell them you go donate and help that charity and send that money. And you know what? When I do that, it's like abundance just comes into my life in so many different ways. It comes in a different way because that person at that time could not, maybe not afford my full fee, but they could donate a small fee to the PAC project, and then I get my full fee a different way. And I love how that works, right? My needs are totally met when we talk to our angels. When we have our guides helping us, we don't have to do any work. So I love that you said Raphael does the hard work for you, because that's so true. And they want to do that, right? They have all that energy. They can do that. So, you know, can you tell the viewers a time? I know you talked about your psychic medium, that the time about the sun, the passing of the sun in the water. But is there another that you can talk about your work where somebody really validated time for you that really, really sticks out for you, that, you know, keeps you going?
Well, that will be my husband, because he is what I call a true non-believer, but he's now becoming a believer.
Cool.
Because the one night we were sitting, it would have been a year ago, March. We were sitting, we had gone out for supper and we were sitting, and all of a sudden, it was just this nagging coming through. And I shouldn't say nagging, it was a consistent message coming through. And I'm sitting here and I'm going, okay, I know you don't believe in this, but I need to say this so that it quits. And I started telling him stuff, and he's looking at me and he's going white, and I'm sitting there, okay. It turns out it was his grandma, and I was even doing her mannerisms when I was relaying the message. So from there, we were a good hour and a half in the truck. I brought in 8 of his dead relatives that I never met. They had all passed away before I even met my husband. And I brought them all in, and I was telling him stuff he never ever told me, that he never ever told anybody. Wow. And that was kind of the moment where I went, oh my crap, like, this is really happening whether I wanted to or not, right? Yeah. So then his grandma would continually come in, and finally I just looked at him. I said, will you please talk to her, because like she's forever coming in and she's got to stop, right? So I taught him how to have a conversation. So he now talks to his own grandma. She doesn't come to me unless he's not listening to her. He talks with my dad, and he's now using his own team. So he's developing and becoming a believer. And he's now become a true supporter of me, because he's setting up, because I do message with spirit from Angel, and he's setting up renting halls and making sure I'm in there and everything's going the way it should go. So that was another moment that kind of went ding to me, that it's like, oh, I can do this. Like, quit wondering, quit doubting yourself, quit putting yourself down, and just have the blind faith and jump in. Like, you can't hurt anybody. Just play with it. And they love playing with you.
Yes, yes. Can you tell us how you taught your husband to communicate? I think they'd really like to know how he communicates to his loved ones, past loved ones.
Well, I told him, like I do, just sit at the table and talk to them and pick out signs so that you know. So for him, it smells. So his grandma used to work in a bakery, so chocolate cake. If it's his grandfather, it'll be the grass of silage and the smell of the farm. And for my dad, I haven't quite found out what it is about my dad. He actually will see my dad. People will come on the bus that really look like my dad, and he has to take a couple of looks. And the one time that was really where I knew it was my dad is because we kept his farm truck, and we were driving it at the time, and Mario went in and he plated it. And we were driving it like for a month. And what had happened is the person at SGI had plated the wrong truck. So we were driving a truck with no plates. And my dad kept coming to Mario to let him know. And then finally Mario said, I got to go to SGI. There's just a strange feeling. And when he went there, sure enough, the truck wasn't plated.
Wow.
So it's kind of, these things happen. So it's kind of like, oh, cool.
Yeah.
So it's an ongoing teaching. It's an ongoing conversation that I have with the people when I'm trying to teach them to communicate. It's not a cut and dry because each one of us communicates differently with spirit. So it's finding what's going to work for them and what they can understand. So it usually takes me a few sessions before I can figure out which way they're communicating or how their gifts come in and how they can use them to their benefit. A lot of the times with people, it's trying to work through the blocks that they have in their belief system and getting them to change what I call a reroute. We got to reroute you around here. Like, you got to think differently about it for it to happen. And then it's mostly, like I tell people, I know when they get ringing in the ears, and people always right away, well, I'm losing my hearing. No, that's actually the angels talking to you, and you need to start fine-tuning that radio station or the TV station and start working in. And a lot of the times, if you just acknowledge when you get the ringing in the ears, even though you don't know the message, just acknowledge you're getting it and ask them to come in more clear, then they can start getting that open line of communication and start developing a little deeper.
Yes, that's so true. Yeah, we all have these senses, and some of us need to refine them so we can connect with our angels and connect with the guides. Yeah, that ringing in the ear, I'll get that with the angels, and yes. I love it. I'll just kind of sit there. Oh, I love that. Okay, you guys, you're gonna be a lot more clear than that because I don't know what you're trying to tell me. And then I'll get a sign, or I'll get a cloud or something like that. But I like that about your dad. I love that because my dad did the same thing. He came in physical form. Wasn't too long after his passing. I think about a month later. I was in where was I? I can't remember now which airport I was in the States somewhere. And I was coming back from Sedona, and this Chinese man came, and from behind he wore this jean shirt, jean pants, and this black belt. From behind, he had black hair, just like my dad. I was staring at this guy. I wouldn't take my eyes off of him because he looked just like my dad. And I said, "Thank you, Dad. I knew you ran away. Thank you, Dad, for coming." But I was ready to bawl because I wanted to go over there and hug that guy. I'm glad I did it because
a little weird.
I know, but just to know that, to see that physical being, seeing him again, because that was him coming through, and I loved it. So yeah, we really got to watch those signs And we got to use our senses, whether it's smelling, whether it's hearing, whether it's seeing, whether it's knowing, whether it's tasting, whether it's feeling. That's people. That's how we connect with our guides and our angels, is through our senses. You know, that's our sixth sense, is when we can use those senses, right? So
Yes.
can you tell the viewers, we're just about running out of time here. We've got maybe a few more minutes, but quickly just tell the viewers the work that you do. First of all, yeah, like the work that you do, I think we talked about most of that already, but how can they, okay, you talked a bit about taking some training. Who are you taking training with to understand your gifts?
I've taken training from Judy Hall for crystals, Doreen Virtue. I have taken training with Sandy Anastasia. I am now training with Jody Rollins. I have taken my card reading with, I'm forgetting her name. I'm drawing a blank. That happens to me too.
Jennifer McDougall?
Yes. Thank
you.
You're
welcome. Thank you for the notes.
Oh, that happens to me a lot. I go, when I get up there, everything in my head disappears.
I can relate.
I'm doing a lot of that. I've done a bit with John Edwards, so I'm really learning to develop different areas. I work out of the Twig and Squirrel Wild Goods on 20th Street here in Saskatoon. They can reach me off my Facebook page or my web page, which is Crystal Clear 101 Holistic Healing and Products. Trying to think of what else here. I do a lot of events.
Yeah, what's your phone number?
My phone number is 306-261-4086.
That's the number they can reach you at?
Yeah, they can text me, they can leave a message, because I don't answer my phone if I'm in with a client.
Okay, for sure. Fair enough. Yeah, because I'm sure you're going to be pretty busy. So you do see people in person. Yes. Can you tell us Monday to Friday, what's your hours at the shop?
Right now I am mostly weekends because I'm doing a lot of events and a lot of training. I am going to be down for about 6 weeks because of health reasons. So okay. I'm going to kind of be down for a little bit, but I will try to fire back up, but I'll be doing it online. So I'll either be doing it through FaceTime or email or over the phone. I just won't be going in because of my health issues on what I'm dealing with.
Okay, so 6 weeks you'll be kind of doing your health thing, but after that people can get a hold of you online? Yes. Perfect. Is there any last comments that you want to share with the viewers? Any takeaways? Any profound messages that you want to give our viewers before we end our time together? Hour goes by so fast.
Well, they need to start looking at you more as a medicine woman, because you are definitely one.
Thank you. I love you.
Start working with you a little more.
Thank you.
For me, I'm just so energetic, and my energy is just right out there, that I want everybody to learn their gifts and to use their gifts and to realize it's okay. Like, you're not going to get burnt at the stake like in the old days. And I just want to share with everybody. I just want to teach people. I just want to see their faces light up when they get that aha moment.
Oh, I know. You just gave me goosebumps. Thank you so much. It's been such a pleasure to have you on the Angel Spirit Show, episode number 3. I've just been so grateful that creators guiding all wonderful, talented people on my path. And I'm looking forward to seeing you in person someday. You're a good friend with my cousin. And yeah, I'm Métis too. Yes.
We thank you for doing this. See, I had a vision of this happening, but I wasn't sure if it was for me or someone else. But see, they were giving me the sign that you would be doing this and I'd be on your show.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you.
There's so much I could tell you. We could have a heyday over coffee.
Well, you know, maybe, yeah, we need to meet in person so we can share our gifts together. So definitely we'll be back. We'll be in touch. Okay. All
Because
right.
you also travel.
Yes, I do. So I'll
You asked
definitely come and see you. All right. Well, take care, Angel. I love your name. And thank you again for this opportunity to meet you and to share your story and to share your experiences. I know the viewers are going to just love you. Okay.
All right.
Take care.
Thanks.
All
Talk to you
right.
soon. Bye.
Talk to you soon. Bye.